Okay, so we got what I call the tramp stamp. Wife brought it out to me. I did the perforated holes in it. Now I have this thing. It's for, well, I guess it's for multiple things, but it is used in the pinstriping world. It's called a quote pounce. It's by Hancy, Hancy. And it's just I don't know, a soft foam pad, felt pad. Use white chalking powder. Use the powder like when you're doing construction and you use a chalk line. It's that same powder, it's just a chalking powder. And now you gotta, I got this taped up here, I measured it. It should be, I kind of eyeballed the center with the center of the thing, but I measured up to the print line on each side to make sure that it was the same with the bottom of the drawer. So it shouldn't be crooked. And then you just take your pounce pad and very carefully try not to bunch up the paper or anything. You just lightly run over it, and it collects in those holes that you perforated in there. And if you're lucky enough and you don't breathe on it too much, when you peel off this piece of paper, you should have all these little dots there. Sometimes you got to do it a couple times. It doesn't always work the first time. So let's pull it off and see. So now you see all those little white dots. That's what you guys see me using that little wheel that's like a spur on a cowboy boot. Pokes all the holes in the paper, and you use that pounce pad, and it puts all those little dots on it. And then I'll come back with my pencil, because you don't want to touch this, they're going to be gone. So I always keep the drawing by me so that I can look at it and make sure that I'm following the correct lines. This one's pretty easy design, but some of them you can get lost real easy. So then I just go through with this pencil and I follow the lines, the dots, and I trace it out. It'd be nice if this wasn't all wobbly on me. Stick a paint stick under there. Okay. So I like doing simple pinstripe designs where it's just two colors. Black, I think red and white and blue and white look awesome. They look awesome on black. So, and when you're doing two colors, make sure you keep track of which lines you're doing. Because it's easy to get lost. And that's another reason why, I think I like doing these simple, open designs. Because when you start getting into those ones that are really crowded, oh man, you can get lost real easy in those. Ta-da! We're done. Okay, pack it up. It's the end of the video. Okay, so now that you got those white lines on there, I'll wipe with the paper towel very, very carefully. You don't want to wipe it away, but you want to get rid of that powder, because that powder will clog up your brush. So you want to get rid of the powder, but I can still see my pencil marks on there. You know, I also wipe it to get rid of any chunks that the pencil leaves behind, like these couple of chunks right here. But your paint goes right over it and sticks to it, no problem. Never had an issue with it. It was something that I questioned when I was learning this stuff, and the guy who taught me this stuff said that he's never had an issue with going over the pencil. So I'm going to do these in red and white. It'll go with a lot of the other things around here. My wife has a toolbox that I did in red and white. The little box that you've seen when I was doing the pound scene that has all my pinstriping stuff in it. You know, it's black box with red and white. My engine stands are done. They're black with red and white pinstriping on them. So it's just a common theme. I really like that, just hot rod black with red and white pinstriping. I do have other stuff with different pinstriping on it. Not everything is, I don't do everything in just black and white, or red and white, black, red, and white. But you know, I showed you that little box, you know, which is in the red and the white. I did the red and white on my grinder and wire wheel, and that's my style. That's my freehand stuff. That is not copied from a book or printed off the internet. That's just my style. Like I said, I kind of have that tribal style to me, more modern. You know, I did this guy up here. He holds all my airbrush bottles and airbrushes and hoses and fittings and all that stuff. So, you know, like I said, I'm not perfect at this stuff by any means. But I like pinstriping myself, and I couldn't afford to have anybody do it. So I learned how to do it myself. You know what? I gotta go inside and get my paint. Keep my paint in the house during the winter so that it doesn't get ruined. So I'll be right back. So I went and got my paint box from inside. I pinstriped that little guy too. See, he's done in blue and black. So I do all different types of colors. It just, I don't know. To me, certain colors look good with certain things, and so this carries most of my paint. I do have some paint in the black box. Some of my bigger cans that don't fit in my little box. You know, it may not look like it's totally full, but there's quite a few different colors in here. Let's see, black, white. So I use two different brands of pinstriping. I use House of Color striping lettering enamel. I really like this stuff because it dries really fast. So by the time you get from one side to the other with one color, most of the time, you still got to be careful. You got to be careful any time that you're doing this stuff. But most of the time, you can go right back with the next color, and you don't have to worry about bleed through of the two colors, or maybe smudging. It does dry really quick compared to. I guess I use three different kinds. I also use. One shot. It's my favorite blue with one shot. But this stuff takes a really long time to dry. So you really have to be careful when you're working with multiple colors. A lot of times, when I'm working with that stuff, I'll do one color and I'll come back, a couple hours later and do the next color. Just so I don't have any bleed through of the colors, or I'm not smudging it or anything like that. But another reason that I really like this House of Color stuff is that you can clear over this stuff with automotive clear with no issues. I know a lot of people say that you can clear over the top of one shot as well. To do that, they say to use some of the hardener from the clear that you're using, and put some of that hardener in with the one shot, so that it makes it more compatible. But I've had it happen myself, and I've seen it happen with other people where it'll wrinkle the one shot when you clear over it. So you got to be really careful. You got to make sure it's good and dry. You got to make sure it's scuffed. You got to add a little bit of that hardener to it. So, and then I also use it's Finesse Pinstriping Incorporated. I also use them. And the reason that I use so many different brands, for one, I just explained that I like the House Colors because you can clear over it. But certain companies have certain colors that you can't get from other companies. So, or at least you couldn't when I started. Some of these paints I have in here are, probably 15 to 20 years old. So maybe not 20, probably closer to 15. So, and they're so good. You just pop them open. Sometimes there's a film over the top that you gotta, kind of pop that film and peel it off and mix it up, and you're good to go. I've never had a problem. You need a palette pad, and this is just, it's pieces of paper. This is actually, I get these from my paint shop. This is actually the label that goes around the automotive paint can when you go pick up paint. It's shiny on one side. The paint don't soak through it. So you can use all different types of stuff for a palette pad, but I pick those up. My paint shop gives them to me for free. So this is one of my more favorite brushes. You can see that it's a 444-2, the Virus by Mac. It's a Mac brush, just like sword brushes. So they are pinstriping brushes or art brushes, whatever you want to consider them. Like I said, I switched over to that style of brush. Because when I quit drinking, I lost my flow, and I had a real hard time getting my flow back, and I found it in these brushes. So I don't use a lot of paint. This stuff goes a long way. So you can see my palette down here. This is my palette paper. I just get these little stir sticks. I mix up my paint. I make sure it's mixed up, and just after I'm done mixing, I pull it out and I put it on a piece of paper. There's not much there. You don't have to pour a bunch of paint out and waste it. It goes a long ways. So, and then on this drawing, if you can see it in the video, like one is orange and one is a black or a light blue, the way that my computer printed it. So it kind of explains to you, it shows you which line is supposed to be which color. So like the orange, I'll do one color, and then the black, I'll do the other color. So it's good to have that picture there so that you can follow it and make sure that you're getting the right line, the right color. Some of the other ones that I print out of my book that are in black and white, I will go with a colored pencil, and I will, figure it out before I start, and trace them out, one in one color, one in the other color, so that when I'm going to do this, I know which one is going which way. So remember, I'm not perfect at this. Sometimes it takes me a couple tries to get it. Also, I had coffee before I came out here, which is usually not a good thing for me to have before I pinstripe. But I came out here and I was out of gas in my welder, and I've been meaning to get this video finished. You always want to make sure when you're doing this that you're in a comfortable spot to do it. If you want to pick this up and learn how to start doing it, you get some picture frames or some panels or something that you can practice on. Piece of glass works good. One thing that I would suggest is that like if you're going to do a piece of glass or a panel or something, tape it down to the table and to get used to being able to do it without moving the panel. Because when you're doing a car, you can't flip the trunk around when it's on a car. So you gotta get used to being able to do it without flipping those panels around. When I very first started learning doing it, I did it on a panel, and it wasn't, I was moving it around and getting the best angle and everything. And then when I started doing cars, it was like, wow, I can't move this. And I kind of had to teach myself to do it without being able to move the panel. So, if you're just starting out and you're learning, just start with that, not being able to move the panel. I need to get glasses. I can't see. Okay, back at it. I had somebody stop by, want to talk to me about a couple of projects for the future here, maybe the new future. So those will be videos for another time, but I had to stop and talk to him about that. I just want to touch up a couple spots on this white and those last couple of lines were not part of the original drawing. Something I felt that it needed. Okay, we'll switch over to red now. So I'm going to get some red together. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I realized that I didn't turn the microphones on when I came back, so hopefully I was close enough to the camera and talking loud enough that you guys were able to hear me.
Okay, so that's it for that one. Now I have one that's going to go in the corner, on the bottom, and on the top. So it'll get one here. It'll get one up here. It'll get one up here. It'll get one up here. And it's actually a set that I found that goes with this one, so it's got the same kind of curves and bends, so it'll match. So there it is, minus my fingerprints that I got all over it. They're just smudges. They'll come off when I clean it. It's not paint or nothing. It's just my greasy, palmy hands. So that's it as far as that one. That's how I do my pinstriping. I'll film the rest of it. It's getting late tonight. I'm gonna call it a night. When I do the corners, I'll film the corners, or at least one or two of them at least. And then when I do the side, I'll film that as well. Probably all be in one video, so I don't know why I'm telling you guys this, but yeah, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed that part. I'll see you on the next part. I'm out.